All right, I want to talk about this guy and what he has to do with this AI panic that's going on right now. And then I want to switch to the people who work inside this building because I think they are the real headline. This is a true national disaster that's going on. This guy has just kind of crushed a lot of stock market valuations. So let's do that first. So Liang Wenfeng is the founder of a open source AI lab in China called DeepSeek. Came out of a hedge fund, and they, just after Christmas, released a model called DeepSeek V3 that now in third-party testing has been shown to be better at a lot of tasks than Meta's Llama, Anthropic's Claude, and OpenAI's latest model. And here's the crazy part. So Meta, I was looking at a report from an analyst that said that Meta spent probably $640 million building Llama. That's processing power, that's people, that's all kinds of stuff. And it took them a long time. This guy says that he built DeepSeek V3 for $6 million and did it in a matter of months. And that is causing the stock price of all of these big American tech companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, to crater. And the one that's really tanking is NVIDIA. So NVIDIA makes these high-end chips that have been sort of key to the AI revolution. And one of the big expenses for that $640 million that Meta may have spent on Llama is the chips. They bought all of these fancy chips from these guys. They can cost about $40,000 a piece, as much as that. So NVIDIA has not been allowed to sell its highest end chips, these H100 chips, to China. Instead, they watered them down and created something called an H800 chip, which is what they sent off to Liang Wenfeng and to other customers over there. And that is really amazing. Like, the fact that he could use that is really, really extraordinary. And it also is a real problem for NVIDIA because NVIDIA has basically been saying, you're going to need all the chips you can get from us and the highest end chips possible. And the fact that this guy pulled it off without the fancy chips that are reserved for American companies, tough. NVIDIA has lost the greatest amount of money in a single day in the history of capitalism. 16% of their value has disappeared. That's hundreds of billions of dollars. All of this is to say, I don't really care about this. First of all, the AI industry is a faith-based industry. Sam Altman last year said to an audience at MIT the same kind of thing that he's been saying to lots and lots of people, which is that there's this just, there needs to be this, fundamental trust given to AI people in order to get us to this better future, literally to like an afterlife on the other side of tremendous social and economic upheaval. He said to this MIT audience, AI is going to eliminate a lot of current jobs and there will be classes of jobs that totally go away. AI is also going to change the way a lot of current jobs function and it's going to create entirely new jobs. Now that sounds rough, right? Well, he goes on to say the trade-off is worth it because, quote, if we could see what each of us can do 10 or 20 years in the future, it would astonish us today. That suggests that he somehow knows what that is going to look like, but he's never been able to tell anybody what that is. Nobody can because that's 10 or 20 years in the future. It's a faith-based industry. The stock market is also faith-based. There's an amazing article from 1999 issue of The Atlantic that I was reading it was called The Market as God. It was written by the head of the Harvard Divinity School, a guy named Harvey Cox. And he said he read the business press kind of for the first time. He was reading business newspapers at a friend's suggestion for the first time. And he just kept recognizing in it all of this sort of language of faith and the inner meaning of human history and why things had gone wrong. And he said, the stuff that he was seeing there is what theologians call myths of origin and legends of the fall and these various sort of theological concepts. It's all faith. And that is what we're seeing, this collision of the sort of, people are losing faith in this AI idea, and they're losing faith in these individual companies. And so you're seeing this collapse of the stock market. But I don't think this is what's really important. I think that the fact that that's front page news, like top of the fold, really front page news, is criminal to me as compared to what's going on in this building. So this is the headquarters of National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland. NIH is under HHS, and the new Trump administration has, through HHS, decreed a total silence on the part of these folks and everybody else under HHS. They're not allowed to communicate with the public unless their comments have been reviewed by a presidential appointee. As a result, like, this is FDA recalls, this is announcements of new drug discoveries, this is warnings to the public about what's coming, avian flu and so forth. You can't communicate any of that unless it goes through a presidential appointee, not a scientist, presidential appointee. And all these scientists are coming forward and saying that their long-planned grant applications for funding from NIH, which funds big deal, moonshot, life-saving stuff, have all been canceled. You've got people getting on social media and basically being like, I can't, they've just told me it's shut down. So to me, and here's what's really criminal. NIH was pushing AI and has been for drug discovery, diagnostics, all kinds of cool stuff that you would actually want to use AI for. I wrote this whole book, The Loop, this one here, about how, scientists and researchers and historians and welfare agencies could make incredible use of AI. They won't make any money off it, or at least not in the short term, but it could be incredible for them. And here we have, just the fact that the front page is all about these companies losing money and not about these folks no longer being able to do life-saving work. I don't know. It's bothering me. That is not, to me, what the headlines should be. Anyway, I write about, if you've watched this far, I write about all this in the Rip Current, theripcurrent.com. You can check it all out. But anyway, that's it. Thanks.